Hello students, this video is made to address the most common questions that I get from students when they are working with arrays of objects. I hope this helps you. Okay, first of all, let's pretend this is an array, and this is an array of objects called my array. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects stored in here, and those positions that do not contain an object have a reference to null. Okay, notice that the array of objects, even though we say it's an array of objects, it doesn't really have the objects inside of it. What it has is a reference to the object itself. But that is just the way that it works in the mechanics, and that's what we need to know when we program. Okay, but you can visualize it as if it was inside. That is not a problem. It's actually easier to visualize that way. So when we have the array, let's say this is called my array, for each one of the objects are going to have their own instance variables, and those are inside the object itself, not inside the array. So we have the construct here, which is the array. That's one variable, one construct, right? And inside of it, we have a reference, and the reference points us to an object in here, which has its own instance variables, and it's somewhere in memory, allocated somewhere in memory. Okay, so this is the array. Let's say you already populated it, by asking the user the information on price and other things, right? And you are creating those objects, and as you are creating them, you're adding them into the array. Okay. So let's say that you are required to look inside your array for objects that have a price above $2. Okay, so let's go back and review what we have. So what you need to do is look into the array, which is your first construct, right? So then you are going to look into each position of the array, because you're going to look at each one to see if the price is above $2, right? So you're going to look inside the position of the array. Then when you get to that position, let's say position 0, you're going to look to the object inside that position, right? So you look at the object, there it is, and within the object you have to look for the price. Okay, so from my array, you get the index at position 0, right? That's going to be in the square brackets. And then you say dot, and then that will, when you say dot, you're going to access whatever is inside here, and you're going to say get price in this case, right? Because we're looking at the price, or whatever get method is that that is going to allow you to get into the instance variable of the object inside the array. That variable that you need to compare to figure out if it's what you want or what you are requested to find. So in this case, we will go to array at position 0. Then we're gonna say, the array at position I in this case, because we're gonna need a loop to look into it, right? So array at position I, so that will take us to the first. If we start at 0, it's gonna take us to our first element. If we say dot, right, we're going to be accessing whatever is inside. We're going to be dereferencing whatever is in that memory location. And then we're going to look for in this case, get price. And we can compare the price with whatever is that we're looking for. In this case, we're going to check if this price is above $2. If it is, then I just system out println, right? Print the object dot to string, and then I'm good. I go to the next position, which is my array at position I again, but I has shifted from 0 to 1. Then I go in here, look at my object. For my object, I get the price. That's why it's very important to have our get methods. I get the price, and compared to this one is not above $2, so I don't print it. I just go to the next one, which again is not above 2, so go to the next one and then print this one. When you are printing, if that's all you need to do, or either printing or looking for it and print, whatever it is that you're doing, looking for something, you can say, yeah, I found a snack that is over $2. Or yes, I'm going to go ahead and print it. Your array is not changing. You're just visiting each position and doing something with it. Okay? But what if you actually needed to do something different, like delete an element? Well, before we move into actually delete an element, it's very important that we keep things into perspective, okay? So you have to remember this. You go to the array, then to the position inside the array, then to the object in that position, and then to the instance variable. In this case, we're talking about the price because that's what we're looking for, right? And again, the object is not really inside the array, but that's another thing. So let's say you want to delete an element, right? So let's say you want to delete this element. For whatever the reason, we decide that this element is the element that you're going to delete. It matches something, and so you need to delete this element. So when you delete an element, like in this case, this one, what you need to do is to grab the position and actually point it to null. Make that position null. When you make that position null, you have deleted the element inside the array. So basically, this is what's going to happen. This is going to have a reference to null because there's no object in there. However, you have in your array, you have one object after another, and in here, there's going to be a hole because the array is not a dynamic data structure, so it's not going to shrink, right? So it's going to leave the hole in there. So what you need to do is cover this hole. Because when you're printing or when you're doing something, you don't want to find a null reference in the middle. Okay, well, that depends on how you're managing your array. But if you do that, then that's not going to be a good idea. So there is two things that you can do. If your elements, by definition, are sorted, which may not be for this assignment, right? If they are sorted, then you have no other way to do it but shifting everything to your left, so to cover the hole. So anything that is in these positions, you're going to move, you're going to just shift one to the left. That's one thing. But if your array is not sorted, it's just any order is fine, you can grab the last element in your array and move it into that position, the reference to that position. That way there is, you cover the hole. Make sure that if you do that, you set the last position to reference to null. Otherwise, you're going to have a duplicate element in there. So I hope this helps clarifying the stuff. I know that this is basically in plain English, but whatever I'm telling you, if you think about it in English first, that's what you should do. Solve your problem in English, and then later on you go ahead and translate that into Java. Good luck.